Welcome to Recipe for Fun. I'm Paul.
Hi, I'm Ammon.
And today we're going to play Zap. Now Zap is a dice game of daring and downright fun. It's known by many different names and has several different rule sets. We're going to show you one of the more common rule sets, but the main rule is, as long as we all agree on the rules, we're going to have a great game. The main goal of Zap, besides having a fun time, is to be the first player to score 10,000 points. Now normally, you'd have to track this on a pad of paper, something like this. But we're going to show you something awesome we found at a local craft show. It's called a Zap Arena. And it's got an area to throw your dice and a system for tracking your points for all the players. They come in different sizes. Ours has 6 sides, so our whole family can play. Let's learn how to score points. Using the 6 dice, there are 5 main ways to score. Let's cover the 3 most common first. A single 5 is worth 50 points. A single 1 is worth 100 points. And 3 of a kind is 100 times that kind, whatever it is. So 3 6s are worth 600 points, 3 5s are worth 500 points, 3 4s are worth 400 points, 3 3s are worth 300 points, 3 2s are worth 200 points. The only exception to the 3 of a kind rule is 3 1s. 3 1s is worth 1,000 points, and that's pretty fun. Before we look at the other 2 types of scoring, let's try these first. Ammon's going to start by rolling the 6 dice. Go for it. All right, so here's the result. Okay, so there's no 3 of a kind or 5, but there is a 1 worth 100 points. So Ammon calls out
100!
To avoid any confusion, sets it aside, and rolls the remaining dice. Now he gets this. He sets aside that 1 again, adding 100 to his existing score, so he calls out
200!
And rolls the remaining 4 dice. This time he throws 3 4s all together simultaneously. 400 points! Ammon adds that to the 200 he already has and calls out
600!
Now that's fun. This brings us to the end of your turn. It takes at least 500 points to get in the game and peg your first points. After that, the minimum score for a turn is 350 points. So either way, Ammon is good with this score. He can choose to keep all his points and peg them here and pass the play on to the next player. Or he can decide to keep going and roll his final die in this example. Now if he rolls it, roll it. And he doesn't get a 5 or a 1, he gets zapped. You got zapped! And he loses all 600 points in this case.
It was a bird.
Whoa.
It was fast.
If he rolls his last dice and it's a 1 or a 5 in this example, then something wonderful happens. Let's say he rolls a 5. It's worth 50 points, bringing his running total to 650 points. You'll also notice all of the dice are scoring dice. This is called a turnover, and he has a choice to make. He could end here and score his points, or because they're all scoring dice, he can pick them all up
and roll them again.
And you have to decide here whether to be conservative or aggressive. It's kind of a strategy. Just be careful, don't get zapped. If you do, you lose all the points, and it's the next person's turn. Let's talk about the other 2 ways to score. A straight is worth 1,500 points. It's also a turnover, so you could choose to keep going and score more points. The last way of scoring is 6 of a kind. 6 of a kind, any kind, is worth 10,000 points. Game over, you win, congratulations. Okay, Dad.
But wait, Dad, what if you roll a 4 of a kind or a 5 of a kind?
If you roll a 4 or a 5 of a kind, it gets really fun. So the first 3 dice in 4 or 5 of a kind, you score normally. So for example, 4 threes is 300 points doubled to 600 points. Or 4 fives is 500 points doubled to 1,000 points. And for 1s is 1,000 points doubled to 2,000 points. Now, that's a lot of fun. But a 5 of a kind gets even more fun, even better. It doubles the score again. So 5 twos is 200 points, doubled to 400 points, doubled to 800 points. 5 fours is 400 points, doubled to 800 points, doubled to 1,600 points. And 5 sixes is 600 points, doubled to 1,200, doubled again to 2,400 points. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of points. Now, one last strategy tip. There's no rule that says you have to set aside all scoring dice, just at least 1 per roll. So for example, a 5 or a 1 or a 3 of a kind. You may roll 2 5s, decide you want to keep one of them, and then roll all the rest. It is to your advantage to roll as many dice as you can, so you are more likely to roll a 3 of a kind, which is where most of the big scores come from. Pegging your points on the Zap Arena is easy and a big part of the fun for us. Let's go over how that works. The left peg is the 10,000 point peg. The next group of holes are worth 1,000 points each. The next group of holes on the right are worth 100 points each, and the peg all the way to the right is the 50-point peg. This is what your side of the Zap Arena looks like when the game starts. All pegs are on 0. So let's say I score 500 points and end my turn. Here's how I would peg 500 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the 100s holes, there's 500 points.
Yep.
Let's say on my next turn, I score 650 points and end my turn. Let's peg that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now at this point, I have reached 0 again on my 100s, which means I can now move the 1,000 peg up 1. And I've got 1 more to move on the 100s, 6 and 50. So here is 1,150 points, which is my new total. Now here's what your score may look like at the end of the game when you win. What you're looking at here is 10,200 points. So there you go. Get some dice, some family and friends, get your Zap Arena. I'll put the information for the guy that makes these down below, and play some Zap. That's a recipe for fun. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate your time.
And don't forget, like and subscribe, and if you'd like to be notified every time we post a new video, hit the little bell and you'll be notified.
Thanks again. Hey, let's play. My turn first.